Okay, good evening, Nidiu, Nora, and Norlins. After the midterm or the summative test one, we need to change about the course materials because this course is subtitled with the financial technology and data analytics. Now, for the next sessions or the second sessions, we will learning about the data analytics, especially in the 7 meetings. And for the first meeting, we will start about the description of data. And I take this material from this ebooks, Business Analytics. I will send you in an email with the information about these ebooks. And this books is used in the majoring in accounting and also in management, especially in accounting, because they have the subprime of information about the data analysis and also with the decision making. What we learned today in this class, we will learn about the goal or the aim of these data descriptions. The data description is having the positions or met the goal or aim to present about the data. If you have some data, maybe in the worksheet in Excel, or maybe especially only for the websites with the number, or maybe with the uh, link on website only for the emails, you can present the data and everyone or every people can make sense about your data tools. Now, what is the different tools that we need to inform or to tell information to the other peoples? We can use with the 3 points of uh, the presenting of data. We call the 3 kinds of data presentations. We can present in the form of the graphs like the bar chart or maybe the pie chart and the histogram, scatter plot, and also with the time series. We also present about the form. Second form is about the numerical summary value, like the countables, the percentage, the average, or yeah, we familiar with learning about the mean, median, and modes in the Excel, and also with measure about the variability, like the standard deviations and the variance. And the last, we have the form about the summary of measures like the total value, total score, and maybe in average or group by the categories. The kind of the form about the data presentation is challenged to be uh, express every people or sense to the people to make to gather the data or informations stand out clearly with the information about the number, the graphics, or maybe with the sum of the decision making. And before we start about the how to categorize the data, how to present the data, we need to learn about the basic information, especially in mathematics. But in the advanced level, we called about the statistics. I don't know, maybe in the your university, Norlin, in Samar, you also have the course about the statistics. Yeah, maybe in the first grade or maybe in the second grades, we also learn about the mathematics. But I think it is similar, but in the level of advanced. Now we will talk about the basic terms in the statistic and mathematics. Sometimes we hear about the populations, maybe Philippine populations or Indonesia populations. We talk about the number of citizens. So if we learning about the population is kind of the people's entity or maybe with the numbers that have a same interest, like the number of machines, number of peoples, or number of ratios, or maybe number of people in the religions, maybe lots of all we have the different kind of specific interest in the part of the sample in the part of the populations is is tend to be with the subset of a sample. So if we can make the dividing about the populations, we can find about 1 sample, 2 sample, or 3 sample. And if we count about all of the samples, we name it the populations. So the sample is the one piece or the subset of the populations that we can pick up or choose randomly. In Indonesia, we are called about the representative. Like maybe you have the region is the part of the province, and the all of the province is the part of your state or your country. So if we have the population is the big number of entities with the some interest, the sample is the one or two or the piece with the populations. Next, we have to learn about the kind of the variables, or in the same word we also learn about the field or attributes. Which one do you familiar, or which one do you like? But that is same with the same terms. It's talk about the characteristic, like the age, the gender, the salary, and we also have the observations. But to make you learn about these informations, we have learned about the populations, the sample, variables, and what is the last meeting? Observations. Okay. Now, look at the table. If you see the tables, we can find about lots of variables. Okay. Variable is a different characteristics. How do you know there is a difference? We have the age. This is the first characteristic. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. We have age. This is the first characteristics. The second characteristic, we have a gender and the state, the number of children, and the salary. Okay. This is a different characteristic. Age, gender, state, children, and salary. We name it a variables because they have different characteristics. And all of these variables is categorized as the observations. So the observation is the total or the counting of the variables 1, variable 2, 3, 4, and 5. All of these informations, we name it the observations. Okay. And after the observations, we also learn about the sample and populations. What's the sample? We can find the sample about the people lives in Minnesota. This is the first sample. The second, the people lives in Texas. And maybe we can find about the similar like this one, the California peoples. We can meet about the Californian peoples. So this is the samples. They have the difference of area, the Minnesota, Texas, Ohio, California, and also with the Illinois and Michigans. And the complex of this information, we learn that if you looking for the maps, where you can find about the state like the Minnesota, Texas, and California or New York? Can you predict where is the country? What is the name of the country? Can you predict?
United States.
United States. That's okay. That's a good question. That's a good answer. Okay. If you have the sample from the Minnesota, Texas, Ohio, California, and we have the specifically a clue, New York. We called about the population of people in United States. So for this data, we can learn about we have the population, name it the United States. And the second, we have the different sample. The people lives in Minnesota, Texas, Ohio, California, New York, and also with the another of states. And we have the several variables. We have the variable of the gender, the age, the state, the number of children, and number of salary, and we have the observations. The observation means that we have the data, or we need to observe the people or the person lives in United States. So with the this informations, we can learning about the basic information in mathematics and statistics. Okay, let me clear first. Okay, next, we will talk about the type of data. Okay, after we learn about the basic of the characteristic in data, we need to know about the type of data. The data is separate in two category, a numerical and with the category. The numerical is have a separations like the discrete and the continuous. The discrete is the result from the count and the number of children, but the continuous is having the continuous measurements like the decimals. We can learn about the weight, maybe 28.5 kilo. Yeah. But if we count about the number of childrens, we can find about the one children, two children, three childrens. We cannot say that we have 2.5 children. That is a mistake. Okay. So this is the mean of discretes. We have the count in a full number. But if you have the piece of number or maybe in a decimal, we call it the continuous. Did you get the message? What's the difference about the discrete and continuous? Okay, good. And next, the category of numericals is also separate in these two conditionals, a cross section and a time series. What is the mean of the cross sections? If you take the data or the gathering about the data in a one of distinct point, like maybe you make a people census in the Philippines in to 2021, maybe it's only the data about the number of population Philippine people in 2021. This is the distinct point of time. You only get the data specific in this time. But the time series, if you collect it over time, like you have collecting about the number of people, maybe in Indonesia on Philippines since 2000s until to 2020, like this one. This is the different characteristic of the cross-sectional data and the time series data. Okay. Okay. That is the number or maybe the type of data like the numbering. This otherwise of the type of data we call the categoricals. Yeah. The categoricals is also with the similar or with the specific of classifications. We call ordinal and nominal. What is the difference of the ordinal and nominal? In the ordinal, we have clue in order. We have the separations, we have the order, the queue, or maybe with the difference number 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 5. We know that number 1 is difference with number 2. Or maybe if you have scored 100 is different with the 90. If the score, we can say that 100 is the better than 90. But in the nominal is no natural orderings. Like maybe we can separate the categorical of your gender. You can say that's a male or female. That's a nominal. If you're not a male, it must be you are female. Okay. Or you are graduate or still undergraduates. That's the options. We and only have two options that we call it the nominal. Sometimes we can find about the category like the dummy variables. Dummy variable is only the variable we exclusively code with the 0 and 1. What the 0 in maybe we call or we code for the male and the 0 is maybe for female or in otherwise. But this is the only for the coding because the dummy variable only have two kind of codes. You can make 1 and 0 or maybe 1 and 2 or 3 and 4. It's up to you, but only two options, or we call it the binomial. Okay, next. Look at the example. We learn about the numerical data and categorical data. With this data, can you find where is the numerical data? Can you state in this variable with which variable that containing about the numerical data?
The salary and the number of children.
Salary, good, number of children, any other else? Numerical data. Is it the gender is
The
numerical?
age. The age also.
The age, yes, good. The age is also, but it's classified, it's categorized with the uh, specific what is the name with the specific of categorical. We are actually egg is in a number. You are 18, 19, 20, but it's transformed from the numerical data into categorical data. Okay, we can find about the middle age maybe uh, in the age of 35 to 60. Elderly is more than 60 years and young is below the 35 gitu. And then for the gender is also categorized. Even you are looking for the number 1 and 0, or we call the dummy variables, but this is not presenting about the number 1 is better than 0. Okay. It's only for the classifications. Yeah, yeah, children and eggs. Okay. Oh, sorry. And the number data, the categorical data, and can you find about the discrete and continuous? Where is the discrete? In what variables? The discrete,
I think the salary
a
is
salary.
is a continuous type of numerical data,
Okay,
while the discrete is the number of children.
good. The salary is containing more than a full data, so we can contribute in the continuous. But the children, yes, 1, 2, or 0 is categorized as the discrete. Good answer, Norlin. Need you or Norla, you can also participate in this class.
Yes, sir.
Okay. After we know about the type of data, we will learn about a specific advance, more advanced about the measurement. We starting with the central tendency, or in Indonesia, we call it about the pengukuran sentral. But in the specific of general term in statistic, we call the central tendency. Uh, the terms of central tendency is familiar with you since you maybe you are learning about the mathematics in the first school or maybe with the higher school, like we learn about the mean, median, and modes. But uh, I will make you some of the highlights because this is only for refreshing your materials. The mean is representing about the average, or the we are represent about the categories some larger populations with the largest score into the small score and divide it with the number of the populations. In example, we call it average. But in the Excel, if you have the Microsoft Excel, you also find about calculate about the average functions. Okay. So this is not only count by the manual, because you have the specific of software like the Microsoft Excel, or maybe you can count with your calculators. Okay, Nora, no problem. Thank you for joining.
Thank
Okay.
you, Pablo.
Yes. The second is about the median. The median is like the middle observations or the middle value in the data. So if you have uh, 5 data, number 1, 2, and 5. Let me give you some examples. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The median is the middle of observations. So you need to rank your data, rank your number, and we can find the medians. The data are number 3, but it's not representing about the mean or the average, since it's only the location in the middle of the data. Okay. But this is in an odd arrangement, but it's different if you have the even arrangement like this one: 1, 2, 3, and 4. You only have 4 measurement of data. Where is the median? The median is the data between 2 and 3. Okay. You need to calculate, you count about the data number 2 and number 3, and you need to average them. That is the median. Okay. So it's only talk about the positions, the observation in the middle of your data. Next is about the mode, or maybe the most value that appears in your data. The most value is only you can look in for the data, you can arrange your data, and you can check it about what is the value that often to be occurs in your data or appears in your range of your data. And maybe the mode is not only with the single value. Sometimes we can find the uh, double value or maybe the triple value. This is only with the most obvious value that's appears in your data. Okay. After the central of the tendency, we also have the refresh the materials about the range and variance. The range is the interval of data between your minimum value into your maximum value. That is the range. So like we talked about the GPA, GPA is range about the 0 to 4. Yeah. And about the variance, variance is the average of the square deviations. So in the statistic, we are tend to having a good trust in variance than the means, because the mean is only divided with the number of observations or number of populations, but the variance is different because they have the square of deviations. So the variance is looking for the risk about the data. So it's more advanced than only the average or mean. The variance have the two specifications, the sample variance and the population variance. But I think if you're looking with the little bit continuous, it's a same of formula, okay? The same of formula, but it's only applied in the sample, and this one is applied in the populations. So the number of population is higher than sample. The formula is the same, and the difference is only for the notation. We have S and we have delta. The delta is referring to populations, S is referring for the samples. But it's relatively have the same formula, have the same the countables, but it will show maybe we have the difference score or different value because the population is having the greater value than the sample. If we talk about the variance, we also talk about the standard deviations. The standard deviation is the functions to make your data is not too far for the mean. It means that we have the margin error is the minimum for your data, because the mean only multiply with the number of samples, but the standard deviation is divided by the square root of your variance. So standard deviation is making some new evaluations or with have the difference measurement about the mean, the median, and maybe with the mode with complement with your data or lots of your data, and it's also have the more precise in your measurement than the symbol of mean, median, or modus. Okay, how to present the data? After we learn about the numerical data and the categorical data, we can present the data with the specific informations. The first one is about the graphical. If you have numerical variable, you can present your data with the chart, like the histogram or the box plot, or maybe with the time series, you can use with the time series data. The same time series data is maybe you need to longer times, maybe more than 10 years or more year there 10 times of your the random data of your numerical variables. Let's see what the histogram. The histogram is about the column chart or maybe with the having the grid shape of the distributions. We will learn in the Excels, okay? And then we also have the outlier. Maybe some of you is unfamiliar with this term outlier. Outlier is one or maybe a two value that they are out of the norm. If you have the specific data with the mean and the standard deviations, maybe you can find about the one or two data that's uh, over is outside or maybe far for the mean and standard deviation. We call the outlier. Outlier is sometimes kind of about the unusual combinations. Why it is called unusual? Because every data is containing about the outlier. Every data have an outlier, but we can make a dealing with this outlier. If the outlier is not rushing your data or maybe not crashing with your decision making, you can include the outlier. But sometimes outlier make your data is bad or maybe with the mistake of the decision making. So you need to analyze, is it your outlier is dealing with you, it can help you or it's okay with you, or maybe you need to take it out or maybe uh, drop it for your data. The missing value. After we learn about the outlier, we also find about the real data that sometimes we are not in good conditions or not in good positions. The data is not appears in our informations or in our tables. We call the missing value. How to detect the missing value? We need to check it the first or one by one or the detail of your data. Is your data maybe have the blank value or maybe with the different characteristic? It's called about the missing value, because the missing value is very harmful for your data analysis. The computer or maybe your software cannot rely or cannot process the missing value. So that's make your data maybe you have a warning like the error term, or maybe you have the invalid measurement, or sometimes we have the singular matrix or the singular of algebra. That is we call the missing value. Okay, and so we need to trying about the new of uh, screen like this one. I will send you the Excel later, yeah. This is the our examples. We can find about the age, the number of years, the gender, the state, the children's. Yeah. If you have numerical data like this one, this is a numerical data, you can present to the other peoples or the person with the graph. Like, let me see. With this 10, we can present your data using the graphs. Maybe like this one. In the with the Excel applications, you have lots of recommendations. They have the recommendation of chart. You can use with this one or maybe with this one. This is a bar chart, yeah, or maybe with this one, bar chart, pie chart, or maybe with the line chart. But line chart is not available. You need to like this one, bar charts. The number of children, they have the difference value. So like this one, this is only for the examples. You can present the data number of children in four specific of series. Okay, or maybe you can this also numerical data you can present with the another of the data like this one. We have the difference chart. This is for age and this one for the children. So okay, we can the simple information, we can have the simple information about the numerical data. But how about the categorical data? You need to classify first before you create with your graph with your data, because the categorical data is not in a number. The software or the application cannot read with the text. They only read with the number. So you need to change about the new coding like this one. You have the coding like this one, the gender, male or female. So you can create your new data here. Like this one, maybe, sorry. And like this opinion is also, we have the opinion lookup, one or two. You can make the originals data like this one. The opinion is actually in the number of 1, 5, 1, 3, 5, and we need a new coding here, and you can use with this one, VLOOKUP. So you can change with the number into the text, or in the different way, the text to the number like this one. If the one is a male or female, we can change to the number 1 and 0, 1 and 0, like this one. And then you can present with your specific data, like this one. And I have the three of your Excels. I will send it first. Okay, you can check on your chat room. I send you three kinds of Excels for your exercise, self-exercise. You can find about the questionnaire data, supermarket transactions, and baseball salaries. Don't worry, I will send you again or send you later in your emails for Norlin, and maybe need your Civitas email is still active?
Yes, sir. Of course.
Okay. If you have the different email, just tell me, okay? I will send the recording and the materials and with this one for your exercise. So for the next meeting in the next weeks, I hope you have trying as the self of your exercise at your homes with the Norlin on NIDU with these three kind of data, the questionnaires, the supermarket, and baseball. And for the next meeting, we will presenting about how which is the better to present about the data in the questionnaire, in the supermarket, and in the baseball. So there is more the it's like the interactive learning for the next meeting. So we're not in the theoreticals, but we also have the online meeting for the exercising. And I need to make sure, or maybe the ensuring that you are in a positions or you are ready, or maybe you are known about how to create the graph, how to create the chart, and how to find about the mean, median, and mode. That is the basic of the information that you need to know or you need to learn in this data analytics. Okay. I think my message is clear, Norlin and Nidhi.
Yes, Mr. Sachin.
Yeah.
Are we going to pass the exercises next week, or we're just going to discuss it?
Sorry, your sound is rather bad.
Are we going to pass the exercises, or we were just going to discuss it next week?
We only just discuss it in the next week. There is no exams or maybe no score, but maybe for the another exercise it could be scored. But this is only for the first trying. I need to make sure that okay, you are familiar with the Excel, maybe you are familiar with I don't know, but it's in your university in ESSU, you are maybe you have the statistic software like maybe IBM SPSS, eViews, or what do you have in your university?
Yeah, we also have JASP and SPSS, but we're not that knowledgeable about that
Okay,
software. We're
it's not
still,
not regularly trained in your university.
yeah, but we know how to use Excels and other stuff.
I think Excel is very familiar for you and it's very simple for the data analytics. Okay, maybe for the next week we only recover only with the Excel software or Excel applications. There is I think need you have the Excel, Norlin have the Excel, and maybe Diane also have the Excel. Okay. Any questions for the meetings today?
So far, so good, sir.
And
Okay,
so,
thank you. Okay, thank you for responding me. And I think my materials or at the course is will be end in here. And for the next meeting, we have the discuss about your self exercise using the three data. And also I will check or ensuring that you are capable or you are good in your data analytics with the basic of term. Okay. I will send you the emails about the recordings, the also the data and the materials. Okay. Thank you for coming today.